Ectomorph, the endurance build. If you have ever been told you look like you need to eat more, congratulations. That was not concern, that was jealousy wearing manners and pretending to be nutritional advice. Ectomorphs tend to have narrow shoulders, long limbs, and lean frames, not because something went wrong, but because something went efficient. Their bodies have a high surface area to mass ratio, which is science speak for heat escaping quickly instead of hanging around like an unpaid intern who refuses to clock out. Cooling happens fast, movement stays light, overheating becomes someone else's emergency. This matters because heat is expensive. When your body overheats, performance collapses, muscles fatigue faster, breathing gets inefficient, the brain starts prioritizing survival over productivity. Ectomorph bodies avoid this by design. They shed heat easily, which means they can stay active longer without hitting that internal shutdown button everyone else slams into. Metabolically, ectomorphs run like fuel-efficient engines. They do not store much energy, but what they burn cleanly. Think hybrid car, not monster truck. Calories are treated like a paycheck, not a savings account. Spend it, move, repeat. This is why ectomorphs can eat a full meal and look exactly the same afterward, as if their body politely acknowledged the food, nodded once, and immediately forgot it existed. From a survival standpoint, this was ideal. Carrying extra mass slowed you down. Burning fuel quickly kept you moving. Early humans with this build survives by chasing prey under open sun for hours. No ambush, no brute force, just relentless movement and the refusal to stop. Overheating was the real predator. The ones who stayed cool stayed alive. The lighter frames won not because they were stronger, but because they simply outlasted everything else. That same biology still shows up today. Distance running, cycling, swimming, any activity that punishes bulk and rewards stamina. Ectomorphs recover quickly from volume-based work because their systems are built for repetition, not maximal strain. They tolerate heat better than most and can stay active long after heavier builds have started negotiating terms with gravity. This is where modern misunderstanding creeps in. People see the lack of bulk and assume weakness, but ectomorphs are not built for short, impressive displays of strength. They are built for long problems. When the task is extended, uncomfortable, and refuses to end, this body quietly takes over. Yes, muscle gain is slower. That is not a flaw, that is the trade-off. You do not get marathon endurance and easy mass at the same time. Evolution does not do free upgrades. When everyone else stops to catch their breath, the ectomorph keeps going, proving that endurance does not look impressive until it is the only thing still moving. Mesomorph, the power build. Mesomorphs are what happen when evolution gets tired of waiting and decides patience is a luxury item. Broad shoulders, solid chest, and visible muscle, even when the gym routine has been replaced by vibes and intentions. This is not discipline, this is biology doing most of the work while everyone else is still adjusting the bench. Their bodies carry a higher proportion of fast twitch muscle fibers, the kind designed to explode into motion instead of politely warming up and asking how everyone's weekend was. These fibers specialize in speed and force. They contract fast, hit hard, and burn bright. Pair that with a hormonal environment that responds aggressively to stress, and you get a system that builds strength almost by accident. Lift something heavy a few times, and the body says, "Message received," and starts remodeling immediately. From an evolutionary standpoint, this made perfect sense. Early human groups needed people who could sprint, throw, climb, and react now. Mesomorphs were the hunters who closed distance fast, the defenders who moved first, and the builders who could generate force on demand. When something needed to be done quickly and violently, this was the body that answered without asking follow-up questions. Mesomorphs gain muscle faster than most, respond rapidly to training, and adapt quickly when stimulus is applied correctly. Their bodies are highly responsive systems. Push the right buttons and you get immediate output. Push the wrong ones and you still get output, just not the kind you wanted. This is where the trade-off appears. That same responsiveness cuts both ways. Overtrain and the system revolts. Too much intensity without recovery and the nervous system burns out like a blown fuse. Mesomorphs are powerful, but they are not subtle. They thrive on stimulus, but they also absorb stress deeply. What builds them up quickly can also tear them down just as fast. The modern mistake is assuming that because strength comes easily, restraint is optional. It is not. Mesomorphs do not struggle to get stronger. They struggle to stop. Their real challenge is learning when pushing harder stops being productive and starts being destructive. Endomorph, the durable build. Endomorphs are the reason humanity did not quietly starve, freeze, and disappear into a cautionary tale. Wider frames, thicker tissue, and metabolisms that treat every calorie like it might be the last one for a while. What people now label as slow metabolism was once a premium survival feature. 5 stars, would evolve again. This body is designed to store energy efficiently. When food was unpredictable and winters were long, endomorph bodies did not panic. They saved fuel, insulated vital organs, and kept systems running when other builds started shedding weight, strength, and sanity. Fat storage was not cosmetic, it was insurance. Structurally, endomorphs tend to have a lower center of gravity and thicker muscle fibers, built for force rather than speed. This creates natural stability. Balance improves, loads feel more manageable, the body resists being moved against its will. That is why endomorphs excel at powerlifting, contact sports, and any task where force matters more than finesse. They are built to push, carry, and absorb impact. Precision is optional, momentum is not. From an evolutionary perspective, these were the bodies that endured famine, carried supplies, and survived environments where energy had to be rationed carefully. While lighter builds burned through reserves quickly, endomorphs coasted. The goal was not speed, the goal was still being alive when food returned. In modern environments where food never runs out, this system can look inconvenient. Calories arrive daily, scarcity never shows up. The body keeps storing anyway because biology does not read menus or care about summer plans. It follows instructions written thousands of years ago and refuses to update the software. This is where modern misunderstanding creeps in. Endomorphs are often framed as broken or inefficient. In reality, they are conservative. They waste nothing. They endure stress well, recover from heavy work reliably, and remain functional under load. When things get hard, this body does not collapse, it digs in. While faster builds burn out chasing speed and aesthetics, the endomorph endures. Not flashy, not delicate, just solid, reliable, and extremely difficult to eliminate. Tall and lanky, the sentinel. Tall, lanky builds exist for one very specific reason. Someone needed to see the problem before it became everyone else's problem. Long limbs, narrow frames, and a higher center of gravity turn these bodies into mobile lookout towers. Not built for crowded spaces, not designed to wrestle the ground, built to control space from above it. Their long legs cover more ground per step, which means movement across open terrain costs less energy than it does for shorter, denser builds. Stride length does the work, so the muscles do not have to panic. This is efficient travel, not explosive output. Their reach extends their influence in every direction, and their height provides perspective. In early human groups, that perspective mattered. Seeing predators, spotting prey, or noticing changes in the environment before anyone else did often meant the difference between preparation and surprise. That same advantage translates cleanly into modern movement. Basketball, volleyball, high jump, pole vault, any activity where reach, jump height, and spatial control matter more than brute force. These bodies trade density for range. They are not built to collide head-on, they are built to command the air around them and dictate where movement happens. There is also a social side effect. Height registers as authority before logic has time to intervene. Tall people are often perceived as leaders before they speak, not because of confidence or competence, but because visibility triggers importance in the brain. Evolution wired that shortcut long before resumes, interviews, or organizational charts existed. The trade-off is stability. Taller bodies work harder to balance and absorb impact. A higher center of gravity demands constant correction, and joints take more stress when things go wrong. Falls hit harder, landings require more control, mistakes are louder. But in exchange, the tall, lanky build offers reach, awareness, and presence. They do not dominate by force, they dominate by seeing farther, reacting sooner, and being impossible to overlook. Short and compact, the tenacious. Short and compact builds are what happen when evolution prioritizes efficiency over intimidation. Shorter limbs, denser muscle, and a center of gravity that stays exactly where it is told. Nothing dangles, nothing flails, every inch of the body contributes to movement instead of creating drag or unnecessary drama. This build has an exceptional power to weight ratio. Force travels shorter distances through the limbs, which means less energy wasted and more output delivered. When compact bodies lift, push, or accelerate, they do it efficiently. Think hydraulic press, not crane. Quiet, relentless, effective. The physics are on their side, whether anyone notices or not. Evolution favored this frame in cold, rugged environments where staying warm and carrying heavy loads mattered more than looking impressive from far away. Shorter limbs reduce heat loss. Dense muscle fibers generate force without complaint. These were the bodies hauling stone, dragging supplies, and doing the work that kept groups functioning. No visibility, no applause, just results. That same mechanical advantage still shows up today. Wrestling, weight training, CrossFit, combat sports. Stability beats reach. Balance beats flair. Compact builds absorb force instead of flying apart when things do get physical. They are difficult to knock over and even harder to move once they decide to stay put. The obvious trade-off is reach. Longer limbs access space more easily, but compact builds make up for that by controlling what happens once contact is made. They anchor the group. They lift what others cannot. They hold ground when others get pushed back. Not flashy, not towering, just extremely difficult to dislodge. None of these bodies are mistakes. They are solutions that worked so well evolution decided to keep them. Your body is not confused. Modern expectations are. Subscribe if you want more explanations your biology already understands and your self-image is still arguing with.